A phone buzzes on the nightstand in the middle of the afternoon. Like for most people, it's just a notification. But for the betrayed partner, like their chest tightens, their heart begins to pound. Suddenly they're flooded with the exact same panic they felt on discovery day.
And the betraying partner sees that fear and immediately feels that wave, maybe of crushing shame. Their own defensive system kicks in and they say, it's just my boss. Like, why are you always so paranoid? Or they push it back on the partner. So in a matter of seconds now, both people are drowning in a level of pain that neither of them intended to cause.
Today, we're going to be talking about those betrayal trauma triggers. We're going to be looking at why those triggers are actually like neurological alarm systems rather than jealousy. We'll unpack the shame shield response, and we'll give you specific techniques to interrupt this cycle before it spirals. And then near the end, we're going to share like an exact script you can use when both partners are triggered at the same time.
So to start, we want to define for you what a betrayal trauma trigger actually is. It's a neurological alarm system that activates when the brain detects a reminder of the original infidelity. Does that make sense? So it could be a song that comes up on the radio. It could be a location that you pass by in the car. It could be just a physical sensation in your body, or it could just be a specific time of day when you remember this was when he texted her or something like that.
Yeah. And the research here is actually quite staggering. Like studies show that 43% of betrayed partners continue experiencing those trauma triggers for more than 2 years. So this is not a sign that the recovery is failing. It's just a normal part of the healing process.
And I think that's such a vital distinction because many couples come to us feeling like they're back at square one because a trigger happened and all those big feelings got awakened. But really your brain is just doing what it was designed to do. It encoded the betrayal along with every sensory detail present during that discovery. And now when one of those details comes up again, it perceives a threat, it floods the body with stress hormones in an effort to protect you from going back into the danger that was represented in that moment.
So it's also important to recognize here that betrayal trauma does not just come from romantic infidelity. Like it can come from broken trust by a close friend or a family member. And then when that trust is severed, it leaves deep scars on self-esteem. And your mind is trying to protect you from being hurt again. But the alarm system is so sensitive that it often goes off when there's no actual fire.
Yeah. And so we want to show you a visual of like why this alarm system is so sensitive after betrayal. So think of unresolved betrayal like a set mousetrap. Now, when I set this trap, the spring is coiled tight. I'm a little nervous doing this on camera here.
You're going to get your finger.
Hopefully we can have like a humans were harmed. No humans were harmed during the making of this video. Okay. So this is the betrayal trauma. It's like a set mousetrap. Now that spring is coiled tight, and it's holding a massive amount of pent up energy, right? And that energy that is in that spring is the pain and the fear and the shock of the original betrayal. So this gets set up when the betrayal happens.
And then the trigger, right? That phone buzz or that attractively dressed stranger near your partner is like this pencil.
Scared you. But notice the reaction, right? There's a flight response there still. So unpack that, Verlynda, for us.
Yeah. So like the touch here itself is tiny. It's a small event, but then it releases all that stored energy like instantly. And for the betrayed partner, we want you to know your reaction makes sense, given the betrayal you've experienced. Like you're responding to the devastation of betrayal stored in your nervous system as trauma, just like the energy stored in the mousetrap. And this is an exhausting way to live, like always waiting for that unpredictable touch that sets everything off.
Yeah. And for the betraying partner, it's so easy to focus on the pencil and try to dismiss it and say like, it wasn't the text message. It was just from my boss. You shouldn't be reacting to this. Or to focus on the big response of the trauma and say like, why are you still so angry about this? It was 6 months ago.
It would be like saying like to the mousetrap, like it's just a pencil. Why did you snap?
Yes. It doesn't.
It's not very helpful.
No, it doesn't make sense, right? But it can understand why, because there's all this big energy just because something small happened, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you can see this mousetrap and recognize that there's pent-up trauma energy that your partner is carrying, and own that it was your own actions that loaded this mousetrap, that set the power into that spring, then it becomes easier to respond with compassion and empathy instead of defensiveness. So now you're not fighting about the trigger or the response, you're helping them to safely, over time and slowly, release the tension that is in this spring without having that massive boom that happens. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So we often hear the betraying partner label these reactions as jealousy or insecurity. And as clinicians, like, we want to be very clear here that triggers are fundamentally different from ordinary relationship jealousy.
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
Yes, right. Like, jealousy is a concern about a potential future threat, whereas a trigger is the brain's threat detection system responding to a past trauma as though it's happening right now in the room. And the brain imaging research confirms this. Social pain, especially betrayal, activates the same neural regions as physical injury.
It does, yeah. So there's a part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula that shows similar activation patterns whether you break your leg or discover a betrayal.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing to think about. So your emotional pain as a betrayed person is neurologically real. The racing heart, the intrusive thoughts, the difficulty breathing, those are somatic responses to perceived danger. It was relational danger, maybe not directly physical danger, but it's still danger, and that's how it lands in your nervous system.
Yeah. And that's why we use the framework of like post-traumatic stress disorder. Survivors live in a state of hypervigilance. They're constantly scanning the environment for signs of danger because the person who was their safe space became the source of their trauma, right? This rewiring makes you incredibly sensitive, and that's not a character flaw.
It's not a flaw.
No,
it's
a normal body response to what has happened.
Exactly.
To the pain. Yeah.
So let's look at the other side of this, Verlynda, too, like the betraying partner. When they witness this pain, when they witness the reaction, they do not usually react with pure empathy right away. Instead, they hit what we're going to call the shame shield.
Yes. And the shame shield is a defensive fight, flight, or freeze response. So the shame of seeing the damage you caused feels unbearable. So the brain seeks an escape, and you might become defensive, right? And say like, I've told you nothing's happening. It's just a pencil, right? Defensiveness. Or you might withdraw and say, I cannot deal with this right now.
And the tragedy is that shame shield actually compounds the partner's pain. When your betrayed spouse is triggered and you withdraw, they experience that in that moment as abandonment in a moment of great need. The person that they need to help them feel safe is suddenly unavailable or even attacking or criticizing them. And you can imagine like how much distress and confusion that causes in your betrayed partner.
Yes, because this cycle, like it creates this cycle where their distress escalates, which makes your shame more intense, which makes your shield stronger, right? Breaking this cycle is the first major milestone in mid-recovery. I can put it that way.
Yeah. Just getting them to start working together instead of against each other.
Yeah.
In these moments.
Because they both want the same thing, but just coming at it from their own wounds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They both want calm and safety restored.
I was going to say they both want connection, but.
And connection. That's why we do this together, right?
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That says something about me as a, go watch our Pursue Withdraw video. You'll understand what just happened there. So before we get into de-escalation, let's talk about how these triggers actually manifest. So it's not always like an outburst of anger. Sometimes it shows up as emotional numbness, like checking out even kind of thing. That's like almost associating in one way.
Yeah, exactly. And then like you might feel a sudden spike in anxiety or fear, but you might also feel nauseous, have a headache, or feel your muscles lock up. Hypervigilance is a big one, feeling like you can't relax or sleep because you're on guard. You're on guard, investigating, interrogating, researching, going through timelines, bills, inboxes, like just always on, trying to keep yourself safe.
Yeah, and along those lines, like intrusive thoughts are another hallmark. So your brain starts playing the discovery day like a movie on a loop, or playing out your perceived imagination of the encounters between the betraying partner and the affair partner. And you don't want those thoughts, but they're happening anyways, like they're intruding upon you.
Yeah. Yeah. And for many betrayal survivors, the most obvious, however, is that like intense rage that overcomes you. And that's your body's profound attempt to get back to safety. And I think identifying these signs early is crucial because it allows you to name the experience before the escalation begins. Like, what is actually happening for me? It's like,
Yeah.
it's the rage.
Yeah.
It's hypervigilance.
Yeah.
Of course, this is coming up.
Yeah. And can I just sideboard and normalize those things again, just to really underscore this point, both for the person who is betrayed and the person who has betrayed them, that this is the body's attempt to make sure that the danger never happens again.
Yeah.
Of course, you would be hypervigilant. Of course, you would try to use rage to stop such a profound threat from ever putting you in such danger again, or such fear about like the world that you thought you had that was shattered. So we just really want to validate and encourage betraying partners to validate these emotions.
Yes.
As well.
Yes. And these big things aren't helpful.
Yes. They don't actually make you safer.
They don't make you safer.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, it makes sense why the rage came out.
Yeah.
But the rage is not okay.
Yeah.
And creates unsafety in the room.
Yeah.
So the very
it's a
thing
mix of validating it and, okay, I have to own some stuff.
And like, that's not okay, actually. Yeah. But it's kind of like the very thing you're doing.
We really need to qualify that that's not okay there, Verlynda. Like, I'm just imagining a betrayed partner sitting here and hearing that it's not okay for them to have rage.
Right. Okay. It's okay to have the rage.
Yeah.
Right. That makes sense. It's kind of like a reflex that's coming out for safety. But what we do with that rage is what I'm talking about, is sometimes not okay. Like if we're losing it physically on our partner.
It leads to physical violence.
And it leads to physical violence. That's what I'm saying is not okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, good differentiation there though.
Yeah. And that's again a signal that, okay, I need to find a way to let the pressure out of this spring without, like having the big snap go over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump into that destructive cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's 3 steps of how these triggers usually escalate into like a multi-day conflict. And step 1 is the trigger itself, right? The small thing, but it might be a phone notification pops up, or you drive past a certain restaurant, and that's the trigger that hits.
That's the trigger, yeah. And then step 2, or the second thing that happens, is pain expression that meets the shame shield. So the betrayed partner expresses distress through tears, through questions, through the anger we talked about. And then the betraying partner feels that unbearable shame because it's a reminder of what they've done that they regret, and they choose a defense. If they choose fighting back as a defense, it looks like counter accusations or even gaslighting or some of those kinds of things. If they choose flight, like to move out, they might literally leave the room. If they freeze, they go silent and they check out.
Yeah, yeah. And then step 3 is the escalation spiral. The betrayed partner feels dismissed. Like when shame enters the room, it's like a wall. And so then there's no connection. The betrayed partner feels dismissed. Their abandonment fears intensify. And then this leads to louder voices or more pointed accusations, which makes the betraying partner double down on their defense to try and protect themselves.
And if you're not able to intervene on yourselves and to work together on this, this can go on for hours and hours.
Days.
And even when it stops, both people feel more wounded and less safe than they did before the phone even buzzed.
Yeah.
So it just gets harder and harder. Super tough spot for couples to be in.
Yeah. So I think a key insight here then is like safety must come before connection.
Yeah.
You can't have a productive talk while your nervous system is in threat mode. So the first goal is regulation, not resolution. And a lot of people miss this. They try and like, we just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they're both so escalated, it's not safe enough to pause and hear each other.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So let's give you guys a couple of things. Okay. So for the betraying partner, we recommend the STOP technique, STOP. S stands for stop and breathe before responding. So just pause. You can use your breath to regulate your nervous system to begin to push it back towards calm. So even just taking 3 deep breaths, or maybe you have another technique that you know works better for you, like box breathing or something, let your prefrontal cortex come back online. So stop and breathe. That's the S.
Yeah. Then T is for turn toward. Turn toward your partner's pain instead of away. Your body language communicates safety. So orient yourself toward them. Make eye contact if possible.
Yeah.
And if they can handle it in that moment.
Yeah.
If it's safe enough.
And I don't know if I said this, but this is for the betraying partner to do towards the betrayed partner, right?
You did mention that.
Yeah. Okay. And then O is for, I guess I'm on this finger. O is for offer presence without trying to fix or explain away. Resist the urge to make the trigger go away or to minimize that. They just need to know that you can witness the pain that they're in without leaving them. That's all you have to do for the O, just to offer presence for them.
I realize this is like a interrupt here, but like we were talking in the last video about pornography, and when we're working with people in recovery, it's like getting them to be okay with their own big emotions.
Yeah.
And this is what we're asking them to do here is like, as I become to be okay with my own big emotions, I'm okay with your big emotions too.
Yeah. So it means if I'm on the betraying side, quite often in this case, the task is I can hold my own shame without me spiraling back into that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold that sort of back here, give that thing a hug, but really keep my focus on staying over here present with you. Because I'm learning to tolerate this thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the mental health.
Yeah. Good sidebar.
But P. P is for practice the holding space script. So even say the words, I see that you're hurting right now. I am here. I'm not going anywhere. And this just validates their reality and reassures them against abandonment.
Yeah. So vital for those moments.
Yeah.
And then flipping on, so that's a 4-letter acronym, STOP, for the betraying partner. Now, for betrayed partners, we want to give you the acronym SAFE, S-A-F-E. So while the betraying partner is holding space, the betrayed partner can use the SAFE protocol. So the S is for signal that you are triggered. You can use that exact phrase. I'm having a trauma response right now. And this shifts the frame from an accusation to a piece of information about your internal experience.
It's interesting. I often will bring up signal when I'm working with couples.
Yeah.
And like there's this real resistance to it.
Okay.
Like they don't want
to admit?
No, they don't want to have a signal.
Huh.
Like I remember one of my profs was talking about a signal of like he had a couple that would touch their nose when they got into this. And I don't know why. Maybe I just am not bringing it up in a good way, but sometimes you don't even trust yourself to say anything. And if you have a signal, I don't know whether it's grab an ear or like whatever it might be, then you don't have to actually have the words in that moment.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, I wonder if it's just like it feels pretty vulnerable to do that when your body's already in a threat response.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it would be harder to use words, but maybe in that threat response, it's hard to like move your body if you're frozen.
Yeah. I mean, let's give that back to you guys. I mean, we're therapists. We work with tons of couples in recovery, but if you have ideas about like what makes it hard to have a signal and use a signal,
I'd love to know that.
Drop it in the comments. We'd love your feedback. Like to learn from you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So S was signal. A for safe is ask for what you want. Do you want a hug? Do you want them to sit on the other side of the room? Do you want some verbal reassurance in the moment? Tell them exactly what will help you feel grounded.
Or return to grounded.
Or return to grounded. Yeah.
And then the F is for focus on grounding techniques. Speaking of grounding, right? So things like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory method, which is like 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, and so on. That anchors your body in the present moment where you are safe. So yes, your spouse can help you help contribute to the grounding, but it's your nervous system. So you're taking ownership of the grounding effort and you're leading that for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then E is for engage your support systems. Mm-hmm. So if the trigger's too intense, call a friend or your therapist. Like, you need a support system beyond just your partner to make this recovery sustainable.
Yeah. And if you're tracking with us and thinking about your own experience, again, like, we'd love to hear from you guys in the comments, not only on the signal topic and what comes up for you there, but which part of this cycle do you find most difficult to interrupt, where you get into that whole betrayal and reaction thing and the shame spiral and all that, shield rather. Is it like the initial trigger? Is it the defensive reaction? What have you found that works for you guys as a couple? What helps you get regulated and begin to feel safe again? So if you feel comfortable, like, we recognize it's the internet, but if you feel comfortable or you have an anonymous account, whatever works for you, we'd invite you to share your experience below so we can keep this conversation going and others can learn as well.
Mm-hmm. So we also want to give you some specific scripts to replace the harmful responses that usually happen. So instead of saying, I've already apologized, I hear that one a lot. Mm-hmm. Try saying, I see that you're hurting right now and I'm here.
Yeah. You look like you want to add to that.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, like, I think that helps keep the attention out there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I see you. I see that you're hurting. And I'm not trying to minimize that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bring it back about me. I've already apologized. I already whatever. It's just like, I see you.
Yes. And don't underestimate the power of a compassionate witness.
Yes.
Yeah. And if the betrayed partner is asking the same question for the 100th time, instead of saying, I've answered this already, try saying, I'm wondering if you need reassurance right now. It makes total sense. So validating that possibility, or maybe there's something else going on, like just giving him space for that.
Yeah. Again, leaving it out there, not not bringing it back to what you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're the betraying partner and you feel yourself hitting that shame wall, try not to just shut down. Mm-hmm. But you can say, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Can we take a 20-minute break and come back to this?
Yeah.
And then hold that commitment.
Hold that commitment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the goal of these scripts is to create a safe container, which is a different experience than everybody just reacting. Mm-hmm. After the trigger subsides, you could think about saying, like, thank you for staying with me through that. Now that we're both regulated, can we talk about what happened? And this is begin to shift towards like teamwork around triggers. And of course, like, if you feel like these scripts are not enough, we definitely have more tools. We'd invite you to book a consult with our team so we can get you connected with one of our therapists who specialize in this topic. We're trying to give like a basic approach here, and trauma can be very complex. So we have a lot more resources, and we have the trauma treatment approaches to help you guys so that you can diffuse these triggers if what we're suggesting in the video, you just need more.
Yeah, for sure. And the link to book a consult with our team is in the pinned comment below. Because beyond these immediate scripts, healing betrayal trauma requires deeper work, like modalities like EMDR, somatic experiencing, brain spotting. These things are designed to help process these traumatic memories so they stop triggering the nervous system, like, so intensely. Mm-hmm. We talk about processing them into a memory.
Yeah.
Instead of a trigger.
Yeah. And I think as part of this whole topic too, Verlynda, we have to talk about boundaries for a little bit, right? So boundaries are not about punishing the other person here, but there should be an act of self-care. And you may need to set a boundary that conversations about the affair only happen at certain times. And again, this should not be an attempt to control or minimize that, but just to acknowledge that, hey, we need to wrap a reasonable container around this. Or you may also need to set a boundary when you need physical space, just when you know your emotions are very raw. It's okay to have a boundary around that as well, so that you can just kind of take care of yourself, like do the self-care that you need if things have really flared up too. Mm-hmm. So just be mindful of like how boundaries can assist in here as well. Now, there's some common challenges that come up, Verlynda, that we should look at together. So one of the common challenges is what happens when both partners are triggered at the same time. Like, Verlynda, this is where like a lot of couples get very stuck. The betrayed partner's pain triggers the betraying partner's shame so intensely that neither can hold space, and they're both kind of in their own trauma, because his shame might be tied to childhood trauma and her trauma is from the betrayal. And it's like,
Yeah. And in those moments, it's helpful to use a pause protocol. So either person can call it, like just call pause,
Yeah.
go to separate spaces, use your individual regulation tools that we talked about, stop and safe, and like don't text or call during that time.
Yeah.
Like spend it grounding
Yeah.
and emotionally regulating yourself so that you can come back.
And the timeline here is a key. Like try 30 minutes. You guys will have to find what works for you. That's usually enough. It could be that you find that something shorter doesn't allow you enough time to really regulate. And anything longer can start to feel like abandonment, or like, I'm wondering if we'll ever be able to kind of figure this out, like just start feeling very alone. But come back at the agreed time, even if you don't feel totally ready to do so. But you're like, you know what, let's try this again. I feel more regulated.
And I guess you have the option to call the pause again.
You could call the pause again.
Escalating.
Yeah, for sure.
A second challenge we often see is navigating setbacks. So recovery is almost never a straight line. So you might have 3 great weeks where the triggers seem manageable, and then suddenly like a bad day hits and it feels like you're back at discovery day.
Yeah, and couples kind of wonder, like, does this mean nothing I've done has worked so far?
Exactly.
But this is normal. It's part of it, unfortunately. And it's important to begin to see that these setbacks are opportunities for learning now, rather than proof of failure or that your work isn't working that you're doing on yourselves. So when a setback has happened, instead of saying like, we'll never get over this, try to ask, okay, what was unique about this trigger? And what can we learn? What does this tell us about the safety that we still need to build in our relationship, or more work that we need to do? So consistency and patience are your best allies here, and just treating that moment as, not that you're staying in your head, but you're treating as data of like, okay, what can we learn from this? How can we grow? We've learned something else that we weren't aware of previously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good way to help with that challenge.
Yeah. And I think as people learn, or I've seen as people learn their triggers, they'll even see like, oh, I was actually triggered a couple days ago and I just tried to keep it quiet and control it and whatever. And then the explosion happened back here. Whereas the trigger and explosion, I guess I'm saying, may not happen like that. Delayed. It could be more delayed.
Have a fuse.
Yeah. And so learning like, oh, if I talk about it here before the explosion happens,
okay, then
I don't have those 2 days of everything building.
Yeah.
So it's just data, right? Yeah. It's just data. Yeah. And finally, there's the challenge of trying to do this alone or with general support. And betrayal trauma is highly specialized. General marital counseling can sometimes accidentally re-traumatize the betrayed partner if the therapist doesn't understand the neurobiology of triggers.
Yeah, and that's why we emphasize the role of professional support that is like trauma-informed, and I would say trauma-trained, like doesn't just know about trauma, but knows how to treat it. Whether it's specialized infidelity recovery therapy or couples intensives even, or support groups, getting the right kind of help can make the difference between just spinning your wheels for years and settling in kind of a marriage that's in limp mode versus actually reaching a place of restored trust. You need a support system that not only normalizes your experience, but can help you to work through and heal the trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then each time you successfully navigate a trigger without escalating, like you're making a deposit into the relationship's safety account. Even think of them as Lego blocks. Each one is a Lego block. And eventually you have a structure.
Yeah.
And it takes time to rebuild trust. And we just need to allow ourselves to heal at our own pace.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Betrayal trauma triggers are a normal neurological response to a profound violation of trust. Okay? They are not evidence that you're failing or that the relationship is doomed, but by understanding the neurobiology and practicing de-escalation techniques like stop and safe, you guys also can begin to rebuild a foundation of safety.
Mm-hmm. But healing from infidelity is one of the most difficult journeys a couple can take. And if you find you're stuck in these cycles, you need some expert guidance to navigate the path forward, we invite you to take a gentle next step. As mentioned, you can book a free 20-minute consultation with our team at therapivo.com. We've put the direct link to our betrayal recovery page in the pinned comment below.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate that. It's conversations like this where we look honestly at the pain, and we also look at the science of healing. That's exactly how we begin to normalize therapy in our world. So let's keep doing this work together.